3 weeks left in the season before finals. Two teams desperate to finish on a high for different reasons. This is the Softball SA CMAX Premier League, and we play on Gunnerland. Hello and a warm welcome tonight to the live coverage. I'm James Harris, your host, and alongside me is the five-time Premiership coach, Anthony Weatherstone. And with all the Eastern special comments, it's softball's answer to roaming Brian. It's Pete Williams. Good evening.
Yes, good evening, James, and you're right. Warm welcome, a warm day here. It hasn't really cooled off, not a lot of breeze around to keep it nice for us, but great night ahead of us and a good game to be watching.
Yeah, hi everybody. Hi James. Hi Pete. Absolutely, it's been a very warm day. So two teams looking for different outcomes, I think, tonight. Seacombe building towards next season after their elimination effectively last week against Glenelg, and Port readying themselves for a big finals campaign.
It is the Port Adelaide Magpies and the Seacombe Tigers, the top place Magpies and the fifth place Tigers. They've played 3 times so far this season, so this is the fourth and final time they'll play. Port Adelaide winning all 3 so far. Round 4, they won 6-3. Round 6, Port won 7-0, and in round 8, way back in December, Port won 5-0. So it's been 10 weeks or longer since they last played. There's a look at the Tigers lineup as they take the diamond. Guys, tell us who your key players are and why.
The big one tonight is the pitcher that we've been talking about for some time. It's the Swedish import Emily Eriksson. Gets her start on the mound tonight in the circle, and had a quick chat with Coach Benedictson before the game. He said it was just about player management. Obviously, Sasha Mutzi's unavailable tonight, so it was a great opportunity to bring her in under lights, out of the sun, and Reagan Diaz just slots over into shortstop nicely. So looking for big things for her. She's a big power hitter. She throws the ball the same way. She's only 20 years old, don't forget that too. So it'll be interesting to see how she goes against the powerful Port Adelaide lineup tonight.
And Pete, Glenelg secured a final spot last week with a win over Seacombe. Now the Tigers are playing for pride and maybe even to try and upset a couple of the teams destined for finals.
Absolutely. They've got nothing to lose in their games towards the end of the season. That, there's no pressure on them anymore. That effort that they've got to bring in to make the finals, that's not there. But remember, a lot of these Seacombe team also are involved in the B grade team for Seacombe as well. So they're still going to be carrying a fair bit of form that they're trying to take through to finals potential there as well. So
there's a look at the Port Adelaide lineup. Sorry, Pete, they cut you off there. And it's highlighted by 3 players in there for mine, Golden, Marcelino and Maslin, that just carry this lineup. More so Marcelino and Maslin, they're both hitting around 500 plus. They've both got, in the top half dozen players in the league for batting averages and extra base hits and RBIs, and then you add Golden up the top of the order, and there's generating runs, scoring machines right there.
Absolutely. Golden usually finding herself out on base on most occasions. She can get herself up pretty quickly, and she's got really good leg speed, so it's really good to have the Zoe Thompson in it too. We know she can get the ball out to the right side of the diamond, and that'll put Golden into hopefully scoring positions with that middle of the lineup.
Well, just something that I've noticed with the stats is that Golden's not having the season that she had last year. There's a couple of local leadoffs that might be doing a little bit better with numbers-wise, but she's always a threat every time she comes up to bat. She's funny. She comes from the left-handed batter's box as well. But the last time they played against Seacombe in December, they've only played 6 games, a 4-2 record, and the only win was against the top 4 side was in a low-scoring affair against the 4th-place Sturt Falcons 3-0. Now, having said that, they're still sitting pretty up the top of the ladder, game and a half clear of 2nd place West Torrens. We are just about to get underway. Be interested in your thoughts on that. Only 6 games since the early December. Well, Anthony reserving his comments for later in the game, of course. And this game is brought to you by CMAX, MC Sportswear, and, of course, Eastern. That is an Eastern 888 that Emily Eriksson has thrown down for a called strike. First up, Emily threw a, 17 strikeout game in the B grade?
Yeah.
4 games ago.
And just before, when you were suggesting that I was off in the wilderness,
hard hit shot to the right side. Golden's going to lead off with a single. Port Adelaide, a runner aboard.
I was just watching Emily in the warm-up and just struggling with the length of the plate as she was landing. See on the CMAX replay, Golden, as she's done so many times this season, just gets a single and puts Port Adelaide in the box seat straight away. change to the lineup straight away. Gemma Letton not in the 2 spot. Zoe Thompson is taking over her role tonight.
Golden takes off first pitch unopposed, slides in safely. Lint didn't even get a thrower.
Bit of intentions early from Port.
They'll be trying to sharpen up for finals, no doubt. Take these opportunities to put down plays. Wouldn't be surprised if Thompson goes down for a short play. And just like that, swings away.
Yeah, I was just saying, Emily just seemed to be just struggling with her release point through 4 or 5 pitches over Lint's head in the warm-up, but they've seemed to have corrected it. So hopefully she's settled now.
Golden takes off on the pitch and Lint's throw is off target. But Eriksson chalks up her first strikeout of the game.
Yeah, good pitching there. Thompson obviously trying to get that ball out to the right-hand side of the field. Wasn't able to do it, but Golden, she was off and gone.
I think Havas may have even been half asleep there. She was late to break back to the base as well. So good eyes from Golden to pick that one up. There's one out, runner on first. Marcelino aggressively gets after the first one and fouls it off.
Yeah, traditionally likes to go early in the count. Good pitch there by Eriksson. Good call by Lynn. Just took a little bit of pace off of it and just broke late at the last second. And it was a good first pitch.
Nice change of pace from Eriksson just to mix it up a little. We saw in the C-Max replay the foul ball went into the leg of Marcelino. She's not showing any signs of discomfort. Runner on 3 for this dangerous hitter. She's 2 in the league, only behind Belinda White.
Yeah, Titmus is as far back as you can go at centre field for Marcelino.
But interesting, left fielder Pash isn't. So defending straight away, deep centre field. Good change of pace. That one may have just missed the side. It looked pretty good from here. 2-2 count. High and in play. Diaz moves back and takes a catch. He has to get rid of it quick because Golden was tagging up. 2 out. There'll be a catcher speed up,
which will be denied.
It's compulsory.
And
Thompson.
Thompson's probably as close as you're going to get. You see Marcelino just met that ball on the C-Max replay just out in front, and good mix of pitches there by Eriksson. Was low and away,
Changed
then
the pace,
a couple of changes of paces, and then went up late in the count. So Maslin, birthday girl from last week.
No reprieve for the Tigers, because if Marcelino's not the hardest person to get out in the team, here's Jess Maslin second hardest. She's in the top half dozen in batting averages in the league. Leads the league in extra base hits and slugging average.
Yeah, I mean, she had a great year last year, batting 500. She's 459 this year. And again, 13 RBIs out of a total of 66. So definitely 20% of the offense running through her.
Gets after a high pitch. It had some pace on it. Diaz gets under it to take the catch. And after giving up a lead-off single, Seacombe get out of it with a strikeout and 2 pop-ups to the shortstop.
Yeah, you can see that on the replay. Again, same as Marcelino, same type of pitch, low and away early, up towards the end, and Maslin chased it. So the thing that we hope from Seacombe tonight is that they learn from that plan isn't going to work for 90 minutes. It's worked for the first 10, that's great, but they're going to need to have some other plans to those hitters because they will adjust.
Yeah, it was a very good get out there by Seacombe, as you said, putting the runner on early, getting him around to third with only 1 out, and they were able to hold the next 2 runners. Definitely Port Adelaide are a team where they generally get runners on base. They make the most of it, so a good save there.
There's the Port Adelaide lineup on screen. And Liz Engler has pitched an absolute beauty of a season, leads the league in strikeouts with 100, with a couple of games in hand over second place in the strikeout count, which is Glenn Elg's Jade Peterson, with sitting on 99. But anyone else stand out for you in that lineup?
Oh, look, you look at that infield, it's pretty strong. McKenna Smith, Montana Edwards, Brie Marcelino and Charlize Callahan. There's a very good defensive setup for any of the ground ball stuff. But then they've got some good leg speed out in the middle with Zoe Thompson too to be able to cover the left and right fields if needed. So pretty good all-round diamond performance for Port Adelaide tonight.
Now you look at that Seacombe lineup on the screen, Anthony. They actually go deep. 1 through 6 are recognised hitters, and then you've got a couple of youth players in the bottom 3.
Yeah, and obviously they've recruited really well, and obviously Lint coming back. I think the important thing for their lineup is the evolution. Last year, Becky Havas had a standout year, and this year she's been able to, be a part of the team rather than feel like she's having to carry it. As my wife just walks past us, the assistant coach of Seacombe tonight. So, producer Brandon, if you want to get some TV on that, that'd be great. First time on telly.
What are you saying?
That was a joke, anyway, but well played. So Engler looking for strikeout 101 facing Diaz.
First pitch, running bunt, it rails the line, and Golden makes the decision to pick it up late down the line. It looked like it was railing it. Be tight here on the C-Max replay.
Yeah, perfectly executed bunt, and the funny thing about Reagan Diaz is you can just see here, Golden's the one. Look how far she's had to come up the line to actually field that. Diaz's last 2 lead-off at bats Wednesday and last night for the B grade were a triple and a home run. So she's thrown the scout book out the window, and she's played short.
This is Lara Titmus in the box, the left-handed box for the Tigers. Corners are in real tight. The only infielder that's deep would be second base. She does go down, so they've got the scouting book on that. Diaz is going to beat out the throw, so Golden maybe should have played the sacrifice bunting batter, but decides to go lead runner. Might have been a little too far away for her to make that play because Diaz was off like a rabbit. Here's the C-Max replay.
Great bunt there, and as we saw the speed there of Diaz getting across the 2, she was actually called out last night when her foot just came slightly off the base and was very close on that occasion too. She's got so much speed, she just can't stop.
Lynn shows bunt. She does do this. Comes back, and a third bunt in a row. Callahan does make the play over to second base player, covering first Montana Edwards for the first out. Runners at 2 and 3 for the 4, 5, 6 hitters.
Yeah, I like this from Seacombe, just not letting Liz get into any type of routine or rhythm straight away, and they're just forcing the Port infield to come up with some plays. And they've got runners at 2 and 3, and they've got 2 contact hitters in Havas and Munro, and then Erickson next to try and take an early lead.
Havas goes first pitch. So there's been 4 batters. I think Engler has thrown 5 pitches.
Yeah, it was the first person that swung a bat at her. So it's good. It's good to see that Seacombe taking the game up to Port early.
Low for a ball, nice pick up from Golden.
It's not too often that Golden I've ever seen her actually not throw a runner out at 2, and Marcelino being as amazing as she is, she was inside the diamond, foot back, and she was leaning in like a first base, so she had the shortest distance there, and Reagan actually ran in, didn't even slide, so shows her speed.
Havas goes after a high one to the right side, and Diaz in 2 minds. The throw goes home, so a fielder's choice. Golden does throw the runner out at 2, so in the end a successful defensive play from Port Adelaide, but they had to throw it around a little to get the second out. Here's the C-Max replay.
Yeah, Havas gets jammed up on the hands, great pitch by Liz. So they play the home, and then Marcelino protecting second. Titmus probably just overcooked the run there, trying to draw the play, and Golden with the arm that she's got, happy to have a shot. Still though, Munro, she can hit the ball deep. She's just got to put it on the grass here. 2 out.
First pitch fouls it off. Both teams, Pete, aggressive in the box. Both teams have had runners in scoring position, and defense is held up for both teams.
Yeah, I don't know if Anthony's got the numbers there for pitching side of things from Angler in terms of strikes and balls that she's pitched through the year, but
49%.
Yeah, she normally doesn't pitch a lot of balls. She makes you swing it a lot, so you can't afford to just sit there and wait for her to get you up the line. You've got to make your own sort of game out of it. And Seacombe, as you said, that top six are pretty powerful, so they've got to make the most of every opportunity they have of them in their lineup. And Port are not a team that you can just, hope that they're not going to score a run at some stage in the game. They get on a bit of a roll, so get the runs early and make them chase.
Munro holds the hands back and pushes it opposite field. It goes foul, and it's 0-2. There is another game being played tonight, round 16 concluding tonight, of course. Hills Heat against Walkerville, so 6 versus 7 out on Diamond 2, Pete.
Yeah, currently it is the top of the second. Walkerville have put on 7 runs in the second innings. It's 8-zip the way of Walkerville at the moment. Plenty of hits going round and usual people for Walkerville here. So we've had Sophie King already crossed the plate 3 times in 2 innings. So her week here the other week where she got 5, that could probably be targeted again, but just the usual people doing the usual things for Walkerville and scoring, which is good. Chelsea Martinez hitting, getting runs. Georgia Mason hitting, getting runs over the plate. It's really typical Walkerville actually getting on a bit of a roll.
Thanks to Easton around the Diamonds. Golden tries to throw out the runner. Havis is thrown out. So Golden has the arm on show tonight. Coach Bennett Dixon aggressively on the diamond, on the base paths, has come up short. Both teams have left their lead off stranded at third. And it's a 0-0 ball game after the completion of the first.
Yeah, good time to do it. Munro was looking well behind the count in the box, so he's got the pick off over there at 2. She'll return back and start afresh in the next inning, so good handy lead off to start. But unfortunately, again, as you said, both teams get runners on and can't get them home.
Just noticing that Kylie, who's the assistant coach tonight, who's the B grade coach for Seacombe, just went to Emily as she came out, just had a bit of a word to her just as she was walking back in. So, and I reckon those words would have been just, look, got the first one under your belt, just settle in, get your routine, just execute what you've got to do, and let this field behind you, who've done a very good job so far early in this game, see if they can hold the next 3.
Top of the second inning in the C-Max Premier League. Ericsson wastes no time against Charlize Callahan for a called strike. Good mix again from Ericsson, so she's got a few tricks as we watch her in her first Premier League start as a pitcher. Took her a while to break into the starting lineup for the Seacombe Tigers, but has found a home here. Just 20 years of age, Anthony?
Yeah, absolutely, and just a tremendous athlete for her age, still learning the game really, and yeah, she's had some great performances throughout the B grade.
Nice pitching, gets Callahan striking out, swinging on the outside pitch.
And that's probably from an observation point of view, just I suppose being an ex-coach, is that Seacombe have had the luxury, which they probably haven't had for some time, to have a picture of Ericsson, Munro and Diaz in the same lineup, but you rarely see them used together. And so I'm sort of hoping that that's how it's used tonight.
That's Montana Edwards flying out first pitch inside and jammed.
I mean,
nice catch from Tonkinson at second.
They've evolved a lot this year. They've definitely improved. I think the important thing, of course, though, is as you expose, as you can see there on the C-Max replay, just jammed inside and Tonkinson holds the ground. It's just a matter of trying to find that right mix, and it's one of the hardest jobs in coaching is when do you pull the pitcher, and is it scoreboard pressure, is it momentum, is it the ball strike count, is it the catcher's feedback about executing pitches. And tonight for Port Adelaide, for most of these players, this is the first time they've seen a player this tall throwing rockets at them, whereas Diaz also fast, but coming from a completely different point of release.
McKenna Smith chops this one foul. There's 8 international players playing tonight, 4 on each side. Port Adelaide have an American pitcher, Seacombe using their Swedish pitcher. We claim Adaha Munro as our own. Of course, you've got dual citizenship, the New Zealander, but great to see players coming to Adelaide. It's a destination of choice, isn't it, for these players to play in an Australian summer. It'll be minus 11 back home for some of these people. Hop up, and Ericsson decides to pull out of that, and in the end she does get dirty, but Breland had that one covered.
I'd like to see a replay there.
That was a great inning here. Let's have a look at the
Did she
team
pull out
replay.
or just fall over?
Let's watch Breland take this catch.
No, that's a fall. She's safe. I think that gives you the mindset of Emily, though, being as tall and strong and as youthful as she is. Everything's gettable, especially when you're running at a very strong, fully geared catcher who's running towards you. She would be one of the only players I would think that would run at somebody like that.
And look, to be honest, you know, every single athlete at some stage in their career has had that moment where after 4 or 5 short, sharp steps, you realise your legs just aren't carrying you and you've hit the deck. So happens to the best of them.
That's a very good start by Ericsson. It's just now the battle becomes the management of exposing to the lineup and how they use it. So.
Yeah, second and third time where they do have you mentioned it before, they do have that option, don't they? They can go to Diaz, they can go to Munro if they really want to. But, you know, looking at Seacombe throughout the year, generally when they've started with a pitcher, they've always gone the distance, win, lose or draw. So it'd be interesting to see if they change that up tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. But I also think that's probably one of the reasons why they're fifth. I mean, like when you consider what we've seen, you know, Diaz on last Wednesday, Munro through Saturday in the walk-off against Walkerville.
Well, they'll be tested this weekend, won't they? Seacombe have a double-header against second place West Torrens, so they may need to use all 3 pitches over the course of those 2 games.
I'd be very surprised if they're not. So, and that's a lineup that's just coming right at the right time too.
High for a ball on Munro. She's come to the plate for the second time, but she was in the box when that third out was made the last inning. Interestingly enough, the following Saturday, The following Saturday they have a doubleheader against 4th place Sturt Falcons. So I'm sure all 3 pitches will get a go that weekend as well.
Yeah, big weekend coming up this weekend, Life Members Round. So
great initiative, by the way. I think we might touch on that in a moment, in between batters maybe. Foul ball, and Munro goes to a 2-2 count and has seen plenty of pitches because she was deep in the count in the last inning and she's gone 2-2 this inning. Probably going to go your best pitch here, I'd say. Does go hard and down, and it's 2 bounce. Ground ball to Edwards for the first out.
Yeah, good pitching by Engler. Just speed to Munro. Munro still did well to get her hands clear, but solid defence. But if you're close by to West Beach, you've got 2 international batteries throwing tonight. Drop in, check it out. It is awesome to watch.
Emily Ericsson, starting pitcher for the Tigers, up to bat. We know she can hit the ball. She had a couple of RBIs last Wednesday night's game against Walkerville when it mattered most. The Seacombe Tigers came back from that game, didn't they? They had a walk-off. High for a ball.
And the one interesting thing there, and I think Golden might have just picked it up, and just where her feet are placed at the moment, she's sitting deep right in the back at the moment. And Emily, some of her last at-bats, she's actually starting to be hitting the ball on the right side of the diamond. She's had a couple of singles and RBI shots out there, whereas traditionally in the B grade she'd been pulling the ball sort of left centre most of the time. But Now she's just moved to the front of the box and out, so she's opened up the inside part of the plate.
It goes straight up the middle. Great batting from Emily Eriksson. She took up the challenge from Engler and she smashed it back up the middle.
Yeah, good adjustment. So it's good thinking, especially by a player so young.
C-ball, hit ball, wasn't it, on the C-Max replay? And if you want to help advance tomorrow's healthcare and get paid for your time, log on to cmax.com.au. This is Georgia Tompkinson, first of 3 junior players.
Tompkinson came into the game last night where they had runners that needed to be scored and bases loaded, and coach went up to her and said, just get after it. And that she did with I think it was a triple, cleared the path, or a double at the very least. It was a good piece of ball by the young state under-18 rep.
High for a ball and not bad batting from Tompkinson to go to a 2-1 count. This time last week, I had the shivers by this. I was in a hoodie and tracksuit pants, and tonight, 26 degrees still. Without much breeze as well, as Tompkinson fouls that one off to go to a 2-2 count.
Not much that Brandon bloke can't do. He's been a bureau meteorologist. He tells me earlier he's a surgeon. Dr. Dr. Brandon as well, he wants to call himself. So,
Producer Brandon.
Producer Brandon.
Great pitch from Engler, just scrapes the outside edge, and Tompkinson can't do much more than watch it go past for Engler's first strikeout of the game.
Behind the plate blue, Nikki Wong. That's the first opportunity she's really had to clear her arms. And she'll be happy that it's a good call too.
Tompkinson was nearly on that, wasn't she? She had it covered, just didn't go through with the swing.
Also from the state under-18s.
Yeah, Bianca Pash up to bat. She did the Dragons program in the off-season last year, and what was that happening there? The opportunity for a pitcher speeder?
Yeah, and so when you've got Reagan Diaz in your lineup, why wouldn't you swap?
She's up in 3 batters' time. So
Lara Titmus?
Yeah, 4 batters' time. So the catcher speed-up rule has been around for a while. Now we've got the pitcher speed-up rule. It's not a compulsory change, whereas the catcher is, and just can't be in the next 4 batters. .30 count for Pash. Can afford to watch a couple. You got a different count there, Pete?
I reckon it might be 2-2. I thought they called strike on the first pitch.
2 balls, 2 strikes. We will retract that comment that we made earlier about producer Brandon, and we'll give him a first warning. Nice pitch from Anglo. Change of pace to get Pash. Swing over the top of it for the 3rd out. And what a game we've got on our hands. Both teams aggressive in the box. Both teams defensively sound. Here's a look at the C-Max replay of Engler's 2nd strikeout.
Yeah, you're right, James. Cracking game. We've got ahead of us here. 2 innings in now. Still haven't completed a run of the lineup of either team. Seacombe's been pretty good in the box, and that innings there just held them a little bit at bay, but, you know, they'll power back around to that top of the lineup, which produced good stuff in the first. And as you said, Anthony, it's just a matter of how long they stay with this pitcher, when they decide to change, and what they decide to change in terms of the play, because if they stay at it the same all game, Port Adelaide will adjust.
It's interesting to see. I was just having a look at our socials. Whilst there's not many people down here watching, you know, as James said before, 8 international players under lights at West Beach free of charge. But obviously there's more people watching us online that are at a Taylor Swift concert, and they're all chipping in, which is great to see. Gemma Letton, of course, putting in her apologies that she couldn't make it tonight, as only Gemma would. But yeah, there's millions of people watching at the moment, so shout us out, let us know where you're watching from. Good game tonight so far.
Jess Neves is in the box for Port Adelaide to lead off the 3rd inning. Only the 8th batter going to the plate for Port Adelaide, and Seacombe will send up their 9th to lead off the bottom of the 3rd inning. Neves quickly to a 2-0 count.
Well, yeah, both pitchers, even with base runners, have really not been sort of tested yet.
Chopper to third base, and Havis comes charging for it. Couldn't get a handle on the ball, and Neves will be safely aboard. Just looking to my left, we've got Tula Connolly, Softball SA Hall of Famer, and Sue Norris, 2022 National Champion, scoring to our left.
I reckon that goes down as a throwing error in my book. She had the play, and I reckon she would have got the out if she got the ball off sweetly, but I'm pretty sure you're not meant to throw it like that. Just a bit of a slip, didn't quite have it and rushed the throw. As up into the box is Liz Engler.
Might have to confirm, but you're right, I think it was an error. So yeah, Liz Engler to the plate, and then Golden on deck. Engler swinging away. I may have thought put the runner into scoring position for Golden, but Engler looking to swing away.
Yeah, they've called it a throwing error for that one.
I'll throw 5 for those scoring at home, and nice change of pace again from Eriksson against Engler in this pitcher on pitcher battle. Or smiles from Engler, but it's Eriksson with the advantage. He got a hit last inning against Engler. Goes opposite field, and she returns the favour. Neves may consider 3. The ball's overthrown, and Diaz is right on the spot for runners at 1 and 2. So batters 8 and 9 aboard for Port Adelaide.
I remember when Liz joined in Port's first premiership year, and she became one of their immortals as far as being one of the first premiership players in the club's history. And she went about 20 odd at-bats without any luck. Batting 270 this season, and that's a very solid contribution from your number 9.
Golden watches that one through a call strike. Yeah, you're right. She did have a good contribution. She was a first base player though that season.
Yeah, came in late.
Grauer.
Yeah, came in late, so she had to pick up the role in the club and the team.
Eye for a ball, and not bad from Eriksson to mix it up a little bit and maybe even throw one out of the zone on Golden, who was 1-1 count. Just trying to pepper that outside edge, paint the edge.
Yeah. Needing an out here, definitely. Other Tigers, currently none out with runners at 1-2, allows Coach Lucas to play the short game and the long game here. It's fairly evident by Jess's at-bat so far that he's put the short game away for now and is looking to let Jess clear her arms. Thompson coming up behind can do the same, maybe not at the same power as Golden, but she can definitely play short with speed.
On a 3-1 count, she hits it up the middle. Neves is held up because Titmus was onto it pretty quickly. So loaded bases with none out here for Port Adelaide after Eriksson looked pretty good. Golden's second hit of the game.
Yeah, already having a good night, but now Eriksson gets her first really good test. It's second time round this lineup. Thompson, who we said can play short, but also can clear her hands. The trouble, of course, is Marcelino and Maslin to follow. So need a ground ball double out here. So high in the zone. Want to try and get it down and bring this field into play.
Thompson on the move. Leaves that one down and away. Thompson slices that one foul to the left side, and that one stays inside. It would probably score 3, maybe even all 4 of the runners with Thompson's speed.
Yeah, it's a good call. I mean, only missed out by inches there as well. Eriksson's just got to stay the course here. Don't worry about the situation at the moment. She's just got to execute the game that Lynn's calling here. But this field's got to knock it down. Diaz and Thompson up.
This one is closer to the line, but travels foul. Bianca Pash is close. She's not deep, I wouldn't have suggested. And so, again, if she can't stop that ball, anything to the outfield that beats the outfielders'
Well, it's great batting
central runs.
Yeah, it's great batting by Thompson because the ball has started to go low now in the count, and Thompson's digging that ball out, trying to give these runners a chance.
With pace, she blows away Thompson for the first out of the inning. Still loaded bases for Marcelino.
That was a good comeback there from Eriksson. Obviously, she was 2 balls down, loaded bases, none out. She's managed to hold the first out of the innings and leave all the runners out there.
Ground ball, Havas plays third, and, well, I don't know why she didn't try for a second play there. She could have thrown home and got the fourth. She could have gone to first for a double, but she decides to, on the C-Max replay, not a bad play at third, forcing out the runner. What do you got for us, guys?
Yeah, just saw that. She got over the third base pretty easily and didn't even really look at the home plate. I thought she might have had Nevis with the throw if she'd thrown it home. Blint was in position, but she just held it and looked around, and then she looked back at the third base umpire, so wondering whether she thought she'd missed the bag or something and was not rushing the play. I don't know.
Is that what you saw, Anthony?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I think she was genuine. Like, I think it was, as Pete said, I mean, that's a very hard hit ball at her. So,
more importantly, first run of the game crosses the plate. Maslin just shows her power and pulls this one over 250 feet in foul territory. And
yeah, you can't be throwing up to Jess Maslin with runners on, because that'll happen a lot.
Long strike is what the Seacombe dugout would be saying right about now, but you don't want to throw it there again. It is up, but it's a change of pace and a strike called from the plate umpire Wong.
Not a lot of outside edge work happening here at the plate. A lot of it's sort of challenging hands, pushing in. So
another change of pace, but Maslin stays on. A great catch from Diaz. She climbs the ladder. She needed to. She's not a very tall player, but
super athletic.
Yeah, you watch this on the C-Max replay. She's deep at shortstop. Maslin does a great job to keep her hands back on that change-up, and that's a multiple run-saving catch.
And she's only saved 2 runs there, maybe possibly 3. So a great piece of fielding by Diaz, great piece of hitting by Maslin, who this week, along with some other softballers who cross code, was just recently announced in the South Australian Open Women's Baseball team for 2024.
Amazing. Just back to that that shot. Oh, I've lost my
I'll tell you what,
train of thought, because I was going to say that Emily Eriksson got out of a hole there, because loaded bases with none out, with batters 2, 3 and 4 coming up.
Yeah, she had a really, really tough job, and as Anthony said, she just had to forget about what was on the bases around her and just keep pitching the game that was being called behind. And you know, they got themselves out of there with only 1 run crossing. I was going to say on that play there, as you see there on the C-Max replay, what is it about shortstops? Shortstops can get tall when they want to get tall. You know, Linda Martin back in the day, she wasn't the tallest, but geez, she could jump off the ground just as far as she could actually be in height herself. So when they want to get tall, they can get tall.
Of the millions of people watching, recently Emily's parents were here. They're at home watching her at the moment, shouting her out. So
this is the 9-hitter for Seacombe Tigers, leading off the bottom of the third, Kaylin Mountford. And, well, they've got some work to do, Seacombe. They really were doing well to hold Port Adelaide. Fouls this one off, and then we saw a lead-off or error. Jess Neves got on. She applied that offensive pressure and forced that throwing error, and then single to Engler, single to Gold, and loaded the bases before a fielder's choice RBI for Brianna Marcelino. Strikeout and 3 pitches for the first out. So Engler's rolling now 3 consecutive strikeouts on batters 7, 8, 9. Flip the page over and have a look at 2 of the bottom 3 of Port Adelaide reached. So completely different bottom parts of the order.
Diaz's second trip to the plate started with a running bunt to start. See how she goes this time around.
That one's in there for a called strike. Diaz gets hard at this one, and Marcelino was cheating a little bit as she was 2 steps up the middle as Diaz turns too. She's going to be in trouble if the throw's on the spot, but Marcelino's throw was just off target. It took Callahan off the base, and Reagan Diaz has a triple.
Yeah, off the bat, we see her on the C-Max replay. She splits the gap between 5 and 6 all the way out to the dental for school. She hits the sponsor sign. She was rounding 2 from a long, long way out, and she only had eyes for 3 there. And as you said, the throw just going out a little bit through into foul territory made it the long way back for the tag, and she was going.
Marcelino standing in a regulation position that would have gone between her legs, but on this occasion she played 2 steps up the middle, didn't even go for it on the backhand side.
And look at that. Didn't even raise a smile. She's got herself around to third, hardly puffed, looked at the coach and just said, yep, that was a good hit. I'm ready to go home now.
Just a quick correction. I said it was Ericsson's family that was watching back in Sweden. It's actually Lara's mum who's back watching in Sweden. So to Sasha Titmus, it's here's your daughter. Runner at 3, none out.
Well, Engler has an ERA of 1.7 for the season, and Steph Drzezinski, who used to be a regular commentator, we'll have to get her back soon, I reckon, would always say anything under 2 is elite, and Engler is definitely that.
100%. 100%. Couldn't agree with that more. And she's just a great athlete in the fact that when she's jumping, she's tall, she's throwing hard, and she's landing close to you.
Titmus fouls this one off. Callahan thinks she's a chance and just gets away from her. A 56% strike rate for balls and strikes for Engler, but first pitch strikes up around about 63-64%. Surprised me a little bit there because she does try to get on top early in the count. And a lot of strikeouts.
Yeah, I mean, 25% of them have been looking too, so which means she's asking the question of the hitters an awful lot. And that's great confidence in her and obviously her catcher and Jess Golden.
Nice pitching. She racks up another strikeout, make it 4 on the night. And Diaz, who was stranded at third in the first inning, finds herself at third with 2 out here in the third. Now, interestingly, Bill Benedictson decided to call a signal, although Port Adelaide had called timeout. He could have gone to chat to the players just then, but
Sign language works better sometimes. Brilliant's got Seacombe a couple of times, got runners over the plate when they've really needed them so far this season. She's hit a couple of big bombs out to the outfield. This place here, she only just has to get the ball in play and through that infield and she'll score the run, and I wouldn't put it past her to do it here.
Lynn's 326 on the season. She's third in the team in batting averages. Abby Mossman is atop of that list. Then Reagan Diaz on 455. I didn't mention Abby's 500 average because it says she's only had 17 plate appearances. So, but still, fair effort to have 6 from 12.
Is there a stat there for Bree when she's got runners in scoring position?
Sure is.
What? 350 batting average. So her batting averages go up with runners in scoring position. 7 from 20 with runners in scoring position. Bree Lynn. Geez, I could go down a rabbit hole with the statistics. I love reading them. And unusual but familiar stance for Lynn. She goes forward and she comes all the way back, and then she Hits this one and it goes between the legs of Callahan. Marcelino had to think about making a play, but Diaz scores and we've got a tight ball game here in the bottom of the third.
Yeah, that one there just came right off the end of the bat and rolled its way through Callahan's legs. She was down on it, but I think she just sort of completely had the glove in the wrong spot. Luckily being backed up nicely by Marcelino, but that run scores and well, it won't go down as a hit to her, but got another run over the plate. Just got to put ball in play and hope the fielders make mistakes.
First pitch swinging for Havas will find the gap. Diaz came in as a catcher speed up. She's going to turn 3 and score from first. Marcelino decides not to throw. Becky Havas stands up at 2. She's got herself an RBI and Seacombe take the lead.
Great batting by Becky Havas. Just leant back in, put the ball into space, didn't try and overhit it. Just great skillful batting from the superstar of the Tigers. And Diaz's speed is elite. She's been in the top 3 or 4 in the league, and she's turned that into a run-scoring triple.
Yeah, she came around third and took a couple of short steps trying to regather her feet again and just powered home. She's come off a pretty good run. Of course, at her own impact getting round to third, so she's done 2 3-base sprints in the one innings here and across the plate, so great running there.
It's a bit of an advantage that the Tigers have got, and there's a bit evidenced in Saturday's comeback in the walk-off. Just that pressure of having to win and so many close games. Now they're playing with a little bit more freedom, they're aggressive, they're backing themselves and are taking it up to the league leaders at the moment.
Reminding that obviously they're doing this while they're 2 outs at the moment as well. So, you know, they got the run around to third with 1 out. They lost the next runner. They've had to fight. They've got an error which has got them up to first. They've scored the run and now they've put 2 on the board. So that powerful top 6 you spoke about, and we know Emily Erickson up next can hit a bomb as well if she has to.
Munro puts this one into play. Engler comes in to grab it and Munro will be thrown out for the 3rd out, and Seacombe reply to Port Adelaide's 1 in the top of the 3rd with 2 of their own. Here's a look at the C-Max replay for the 3rd out.
Yeah, just down into the ground, straight up to Engler. Was quick on it. She's got herself out of the innings. Not before 2 runs have scored, but she's actually looking at that replay. It looks like she's almost hit the ball into the ground almost behind the plate.
Lots of people watching online. Austin's loving the tactics by the Tigers so far. Lots of regular names that we'd see there. Jill hopes that Pete's watching. Kaz loving the Tigers this season, watching from Orange in New South Wales. Tracy Wright, big fan of Nikki Wong behind the plate and her first on-air plate umpiring debut. So Catherine's in Roxby, where it's only about mid-30s there at the moment, loving it. And Wayne, how do you pronounce that? A-U-G-E-R?
Auger.
Wayne Auger. That's Courtney's.
Courtney's pitched for the Magpies a few years ago. He's tuned in at 3:10 a.m. -7 degrees to catch a bit of live softball action coming to you.
I'm sure Bill's family's watching from Canada as well. Maybe the Augers and the Benedictsons can catch up for a watch party.
So
Callahan first pitch swinging here in the top of the 4th. The ball goes foul. It's just some live stats for you. Jess Golden's 2 for 2 that she's got so far tonight puts her in the top 10 batters in the competition, joining the other 9 players in the competition that are batting 400 plus. But Regan Diaz's 2 for 2 for tonight puts her into 3rd in the league, hitting 478. That's pretty good, James. Yeah, no worries, fellas. Callahan behind the count 0-1. Change of pace from Erickson.
Did he just congratulate himself on his stats? I didn't comment because I had nothing to say. They were amazing. So.
The only time I've heard that voice before is watching him play when he's had a good hit, and I've heard him say the same thing.
Callahan going hard after that one, straight through the ball, but puts herself down now. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count. Erickson looking to get her 4th strikeout of the match. and completes the play. A fly ball there to Tonkinson at second. Brings about the first out of the innings. Callaghan just getting down and under it a bit, and Tonkinson a couple of steps, balances and gets the nice play.
Pushing off what James was talking about, this year the ASA have 3 new awards. One of them is a hitting award for the best hitter in the Premier League, the Mel McGee Medal. So tightly contested at the moment. Now that Diaz has put herself up there, the superstar that is Belinda White, 596, has been leading that, trailed very closely by Marcelino.
Just a nice little breeze has popped up in the last couple of minutes. It's coming across, been making it really pleasant out there for the players.
Edwards fouls this one off and just gets behind in the count a little bit here. She got jammed in her first at bat. It's been a handy acquisition for Port Adelaide, slotting into second base, a handy middle order batter. Great to see a return to the game as well.
How long ago had she been playing?
As a junior, I'm going to go back to 2015, 2016, maybe. No, 20. Gosh, think about it, James. 2017, she was in an Aussie Friendship Series in Queensland, and then got hit with glandular fever, I think, and that's kept her out ever since. Correct me if I'm wrong. Nice pitching from Eriksson to rack up her 4th strikeout of the game.
Would never do that. Then that's correct you if you're wrong. Just to be clear. So Seacombe here just sensing a little bit of momentum here. The infield rushing in on that strikeout to Eriksson. Just noticing probably her last 10, 15 pitches, her up ball's just starting to lose a little bit of that zip that it had in that opening 40-odd minutes. So it'd be interesting to see how this now plays out as a little bit of pace comes off the ball and Port get multiple looks. They're only 2 hitters away from third time round.
Hop up into foul territory. Lynn's got a chance. Takes a great catch in front of the central commentary position. 3 up and 3 down for Port Adelaide. Here's a look at the CMAX replay. And if you want to help advance tomorrow's healthcare and get paid for your time, log on to cmax.com.au. Anthony on the socials or on the YouTube, you can also comment as well. And Soder softball in Sweden. Eriksson is also watching with some nice comments about beautiful Adelaide and go the Tigers. So
wow.
Emily Eriksson's family is watching, but on YouTube rather than the Softball SA Facebook page.
You're going to have to rename the league to the CMAX International Softball League. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Sarah Polderman also watching from Wando Bridge in Victoria. We've got people watching from all over the world, but that's not unusual for us.
Speaking of legends, Mark Armstrong also is watching. So shout out to Mark. He's done some great work with the Tigers in the pre-season, and you can see some of that paying off here. So
thanks to Eastern and the Eastern Ghost. The new Eastern Ghost was released on the 1st of February. So get to MC Sportswear, put your order in. They're hot off the shipping container. If you could let us know the score on the other game, Pete.
Yeah, I can't believe this, but we're slipping ourselves into now the top of the 4th. They're only in the bottom of the 3rd over there. It's 9-2 the way of Walkerville. Hills have got a couple of runs in the 2nd and 3rd innings, so they're starting to put bat on ball and get runners around. Maxine Saunders has been brought into pitch in this innings for Walkerville, so she replaced Charlie Martinez. So Chelsea Martinez. So Maxine getting a crack in the middle.
Emily Eriksson up for her 2nd plate appearance of the game.
Noticeable thing here with Engler, I don't know what their pitch counts are. I'm assuming they're going to be reasonably similar, but there is no pace off on her. She is still throwing rockets.
Eriksson extends their hands, tries to go opposite field. Kylie runs for the hills.
Oh. Yeah, very nervous
That
about
she
being
is
on
on
TV tonight.
There's-
Yeah, there you go. There's a moment.
She's one of in our commentary team, two-time Cath Coral medalist, multiple premierships. She knows she's on camera. She shook her head at Anthony, who was signalling her. So
Not the first time today either,
an
I might add.
absolute legend of the game right there. Ericsson puts a charge into one opposite field, goes foul.
Anthony, you're asking about the pitch count. So currently, Liz Engler's had 37 strikes, 14 balls from, 38 strikes, 14 balls from 52 pitches. And on the other side, Ericsson's had 40 strikes, 18 balls from 58 pitches, so fairly even.
Well, pulls this one to Callahan, who waits for the second bounce and fires it across. So puts the arm on display, Callahan, for the first out.
Great piece of fielding by the Stars Open Women's State player in Charlize Callahan. She had a rough bounce before where one came off the end of the bat and just sort of ran through her. This time you can just see great glove work, quick release, and that's definitely something she's probably picked up from these international players with her at the moment.
Georgia Tonkinson.
Yeah, interesting on that last ball that dug into the ground. She waited for the second bounce, and the second one, usually the one that spins a bit, did turn on her, but she was quick enough to cover it.
You saw the glove go from her left to her right. Or jammed a little, and she's... Interesting call from the plate umpire there. Just... She'll get another go. Did you see what happened? I thought it...
Now, they've called dead ball. They're saying it's hit her foot,
Camera
they
foot.
believe.
Well,
in
she
the box,
did-
as you see here on the CMAX
she-
replay.
Yeah.
Now, it's missed her foot. It's bounced between the feet.
Life for Tonkinson. High for a ball, and Engler...
Happened so quick.
Yeah, she didn't oppose it at all, so that's great sportsmanship played from Port Adelaide there. Normally, when the game is so tight like this, you might see players a little bit on edge.
Well, while Seacombe are playing for, the obvious is things like pride and building for next year, I mean, Port are still trying to solidify, home final situations, where they start and so on. So, important game for the Magpies.
Yeah, West Torrens only 1 point behind Port Adelaide. If Seacombe get over the top of Port here and West Torrens can win both games on the weekend, they really threaten going back above them.
Yeah, absolutely, and that can be a significant change, especially when you talk about if that is a likely qualifying final. Talk about the lead-offs in Harris and Golden. Both of them are tone setters for their teams, and so that first at bat can be crucial. So, still plenty to play for.
Nice pitching from Engler for the second out. Had to go deep in the count and back to speed and accuracy. Strikeout number 4. Same as Ericsson. 5. 1 ahead. 6. Where am I? How am I going? As this ball's put into play, Pash rounds out to Edwards at second base. I will get a strikeout count right. That is strikeout number 5 of the game for Engler.
So this Saturday upcoming, we've got the ASA's first Club Life Members Round, where we are, as an association, celebrating in our 80th anniversary the life members from each of the Adelaide clubs. And so that's at 4:30. Invitations have been sent out. We've got over 75 attendees coming that we know of at least. So that's super positive. It's going to be great to see some of the legends of the sport from not only playing but coaching, administration, volunteerism, servants of the clubs, and it's our opportunity as an association to say thank you for your support. We've got a couple of surprises in store for them. Obviously, they'll be wearing some red lanyards on the day, which will give them some special privileges around here at West Beach. And then we've got a fancy little kebab shazlik dinner thing at the end of the night. 2 big games. James has already mentioned West Torrens, Seacombe on the back diamond, and Sturt Hills. So looking forward to a big day on Saturday.
Yeah, great initiative, recognising some of the great contributors of our game. Just Neves led off the 3rd inning, getting the ball into play, forcing the error from Havas, and hit it hard enough as well. So if she can emulate that, gives Port Adelaide a great opportunity to score again, as they did in the third. That lead-off on base from Neves resulted in a run.
It's a great little pitch that Emily's got there. It's this little off-speed pitch. It's not a full change, but it just dies at the plate. And she throws it different from her change-up. So
nice piece of the ball to shortstop. But Diaz comes up firing for the first out. A ground out to shortstop for the first out.
Great piece of fielding by Reagan Diaz, who played with the Stars this year. Again, pre-game I had the opportunity to have a bit of an interview with Coach Benedictson, and he did say that for all you Tiger fans out there, promising signs as Diaz looking to return.
As the coaches will vote for Team of the Year, has there been a better utility in the competition? She plays centre field, she can pitch, and now she's showing off her wares at shortstop. I don't think she'll get in shortstop in Team of the Year. I think there's two players with the plus 500 batting averages that might have first or second shot at that. But I don't get a vote, so you never know what the coaches might say.
No, we don't either. And so the important thing there, of course, though, is she could go home with a handful of awards, because we've got the Mel McGee Hitting Award, the Mel McGee Medal. We've got the Lorraine Brown Medal, which is the best pitcher of the Premier League, and, of course, the Kath Coral. So she could go home with all three.
Well, that's a bit cool. As Engler watches that one go through. Well, the only reason why I say that is because, I mean, Engler's got a better pitching record, so, I'd say that she'd be favourite for the pitching award, although Steph Trzynski having an absolute sprint finish to the season, averaging 13, 14 strikeouts per 7 innings, so that is almost double Engler. So she and her ERA's under 1. So, she might have some competition if Trzynski pitches the rest of the season out. But hitting award, I think Belinda White's 150 points ahead of her.
Oh, look, absolutely. So
Engler's going to find a hole and
she's
get aboard for, her second hit of the game.
Yeah, and look, we use the same algorithm that the Softball Australia uses at the national championships. As you see, Engler's ball.
It is stat-based then.
It is. The two awards are stat-based, and the only change to the algorithm is the amount of games, because obviously a national championships is 10 games traditionally, with a couple of finals. So ours is the same for our 24. So the algorithm changes to what your minimum requirements are, but they're the same as the national championship awards.
Brilliant. Well, I'm looking forward to these new awards, and the awards obviously provided by Everite Trophies, no doubt, Anthony.
Along with our new shield and some of the, obviously the other awards, the MC Player of the Final, the Linda Radigan Medal.
Lindy Radigan, yeah.
Which is obviously another great initiative.
Don't get confused with the Linda Martin Shield. Lindy Radigan, Player of the Final.
But there is a new shield coming, the Linda Martin Shield, which we're playing for this year, which is we're very excited about.
Well, get excited for this battle, because Jess Golden is watching very patiently. She's a 2-1 count, ready to pull the trigger. She's 2 for 2 for the night. She's got a runner on first. There is 1 out, and her team is down by a run.
And it's Golden's third look.
Are you playing Lee Hull safe here and putting her on, or with a 3-1 count? Not even risking it?
I would only say that in the fact that she's had good success against Thompson in the first 2 at-bats.
Shows bunt, and it goes foul.
And so you would back your pitcher in that situation. That being said, Zoe Thompson's good enough to have had a couple of opportunities now, and she might be able to turn that round as well. But
Golden
I think
surprised me there.
Yeah. I didn't think that was the play, but normally when she does that, she follows up with a big cut thereafter. But
you know what? I was just going to say I would throw one up and out of the zone here, get her chasing a bad pitch, and you might get a cheap out, right? But at worst, you're just putting her on first.
Yeah, Bill Benedictson makes his way out now from the box. Don't know, he's not really looked at anyone in terms of changing pitches, but I'm sure he'll give some advice here. And Anthony, you did say when they get to their third time around, it's probably the time you'd start to think with 2 other pitchers in the field that they could bring him in.
Look, I'll be honest, I don't have the stats on it. And look, it's the same for every team. It's just not every team has the luxury of multiple pitchers. I mean, even a team as great as Glenelg's been rarely have Jade and Yo in the same team at the same time. So Seacombe have the luxury of having 3 there. And so sometimes it's that different. Look, as I said, Araha against Walkerville on the weekend, lights out, did an amazing job. And, you know, Reagan, again, helped them the week before. So the game can become about matchups. At the moment, she's had Thompson twice so far, and Marcelino's only sort of hurt her once in the last at-bat where she got on her in a fly-out in the first. But that third time round, when you're 2-1 up in the 5th, this is where, as a coach, you're making your money on making the right decisions now.
And this is a really, really big time now for Seacombe, as you said, because this is that part of the lineup that can really hurt you from Port Adelaide, and you've got the lead. If you can just get out of this innings without a run coming across the plate, gives you that little breathing room in the next.
Well, yeah, I mean, Seacombe, Port are chasing 1 here. So at the moment, you know, if I'm Coach Lucas, in my mind, you know, Thompson struggled in her last 2 at-bats, but she's got an amazing short game. Advance the runners and let the 2 big hitters come and do the job. And that seems to be the path at the moment where Thompson's looking to advance the runners. So you've got your pitcher and Engler at 2. You've got Golden, who's arguably the fastest runner in the league, behind her. Would imagine it's still going to be short.
Thompson shows bunt first pitch on the move, and second pitch, she more of a slash at the ball there, and a slap attempt also goes foul. Yeah, she is getting held up by the runner in front of her, though, isn't she? With Liz Engler, who's pitched 92% of Port Adelaide's innings this season. Thompson does well, just drills it on the left side. It's going to score 4 runs. You watch the speed of Thompson as she turns to. The ball hasn't even been picked up yet. The throw comes home and 3 runs across the plate. Zoe Thompson puts the ball into play, causes chaos. Golden scores all day, every day of the week from first on that one.
Well, we've all wanted to see it. We've wanted to see the Golden-Thompson race, and we just got it. So, but that's an outstanding batting by Zoe. She's behind in the count. Ericsson's had her number the 2 at-bats prior, and she's come up with that. That's just an amazing at-bat by one of the most talented players in South Australia at the moment.
Great at-bat. I don't know if they're going to put it down as a home run, though. I think they'll probably say that it was a single or a double and then scoring on an error by the left fielder.
And then Marcelino just follows it up with a shot up the middle. We've seen any movement at all, or we're going to back her through the middle order as Pete will keep his eye on the official scorers. We have another look at Thompson's hit that the left fielder didn't get a glove on. It sort of spun away from her as it tailed away from the left-hander from the right-handed left fielder. So the glove was on the opposite side. So nothing going right for Pash there as Marcelino steals the base. So Port Adelaide with their foot on the throat of the Tigers at the moment, not looking to hold back as we have a look at the C-Max replay.
Yeah, and just having a look there at the official scorers, they have called it an in-park home run.
Yeah.
So
for the reasons I've suggested, I would say. The ball's tailed away and Jess Maslin gets an intentional base on balls. They do not want to risk another run crossing the plate. There is 1 out. Runner on first and second now. Double steal. Well, with Diaz playing shortstop for the first game of the year, Coach Ben Lucas maybe. Oh no, she broke pretty quickly. It was Lint that didn't get a throw off. Good protection from the batter there, Callahan. So runners at 2 and 3 for Charlize Callahan, who always pops up right when you don't want her to, if you're thinking it from an opposition point of view, and right when you wanted to, if you're thinking it from Port Adelaide perspective. She did so in that premiership final for Port Adelaide. Getting the nod from Anthony. Crushes this one. And 2 more runs will cross the plate as Maslin won't hold up. Bianca Pash will get the throw in, but Callahan's happy with a 2 RBI double. There's your ladder leaders showing their worth, and
So-
perhaps Benedictson's timeout should have forced a change. She's coming out now, and a change will be made now.
I was just about to say, we talked about it, and as I said, I've been saying it all season. And, I mean, obviously hindsight's what it is, but we've seen plenty of occasions before, and it took Port 3 innings to figure out, their third time round, for them to figure out what they needed to do against Ericsson. And if you look at the top of their line this innings, including Engler, there's a reason why this game 5 minutes ago was 2-1 down, and now they're 6-2 up.
Well, Zoe Thompson with a 3 RBI home run, and Charlize Callahan with a 2 RBI double. Port Adelaide have piled on 5 in this inning, and they now hold a lead of 6 runs to 2. Hits in this inning to Engler, Thompson, Marcelino and Callahan, with a walk to Golden and intentional base on balls to Maslin. They have gone 6 consecutive batters without missing a beat, and Montana Edwards comes to the plate. Araha Munro will take over the pitching duties.
And the good thing about Araha, completely different type of pitcher. Still throws good speed, has good control, good spin, really good rotation on the ball, which makes her difficult to get away. The problem is when you're coming in as a pitcher into a situation such as this, once the opposition's got their back up, they've got some confidence and they've got the freedom of the scoreboard, it's a very, very tough job to come into. So
back when there was 1 out, Anthony, we were saying that was the really pivotal time. They needed to try and really work on getting Zoe Thompson out. That could have been at 2 out with runners 1 and 2, chasing a run and killing off that dangerous part of the lineup for Port. But we've since seen the dangerous part of the lineup get a walk and then magically bring another 4 runs across the plate, or 5 runs across the plate between them. So
this 6 runs for Port Adelaide take them on to 91 runs scored for the season. Interestingly, they're top of the ladder, but 3rd on the ladder for runs for. But they are well out in front of runs against, with only 35 runs against 1 tonight, so 30 make it 36. So not even giving up 2 runs a game, this Port Adelaide team, while at the same time able to put on 4 or 5 runs a game.
yeah, 100%. That's why they're in the position that they're in. So it's going to be a very, very exciting finals series for CMAX.
This one gets away from Lynn, and Callahan will move across to 3rd.
Unfortunately, when you're a pitcher that's not coming out of the bullpen and you're just having to come in mid-game, there's a bit of a risk. She's got to challenge these hitters here.
And Montana Edwards with a single joins the party. So in the blink of an eye, Port Adelaide have turned this game on its head. They're now 7-2 leaders here in the top of the 5th.
Yes, 7th hit for the game now. So as we said earlier in the game, in the pre-game, Port Adelaide's the sort of team that you might be able to hold them, but eventually they're going to get on a run, and you've really got to be on top of them at all the time. And to their credit, they've come out swinging their 3rd time at bat, and they've put these runs on the board.
Engler, 2 for 2. Golden, 2 for 2 with a walk. Thompson, 1 for 3 with 3 RBIs. Marcelino has gone 1 for 3. Maslin, surprisingly, one of 3 players hitless, but she was put on base intentionally. Callahan, 1 from 3. Edwards, 1 from 3. This is McKenna Smith up to bat.
And just while we've got a moment, obviously this game's turned on its head. Out the back on Diamond 2, games completed over there. They only finished 3 innings for their 90 minutes out the back. A score of 9-5. So Hill's coming back after being 9-0 down, got it back to 9-5. So they've done well, the young kids, to fight back, but Walkerville with the win in the end.
Smith fouls this one off.
Important thing for the Tigers here, obviously 20 minutes to go, and obviously still chasing a 2nd out. They just got to keep their energy here, keep backing each other in. Port are going to keep coming, so it's not going to get easier. They have to meet them halfway.
Smith just protects there with a check swing, fouls it off. Just the road ahead for these two teams. We've mentioned Seacombe have a pair of double headers to end the season. First, West Torrens starting this Saturday, and then round 18 they play a double header against Sturt. So that's their last 4 games. We'll get to Port Adelaide in a moment as Munro deals and up and out of the zone. Port Adelaide play Glenelg on Saturday. That's live streamed right here on Spacequake Sports. Wednesday night they'll face the Hills. Saturday week they will play West Torrens, and they play their final game against the Sturt Falcons. So they still have to play each of the top 4 teams once each. What have we seen here?
Just a bit of a cold breeze just coming through the commentary area.
Smith pulls this one hard. So if you're having a look, if you're keeping count, if you're watching the ladder closely, you'd probably say that Seacombe has a tough run home. They've got to play Port Adelaide tonight, then they play second place West Torrens in a doubleheader, and then they play fourth place Sturt in a doubleheader. But Port Adelaide don't have it any easier. They play for their last 4 games, 3 of the top 4 teams.
How big's round 18 going to be? Port v West Torrens?
It's Port Sturt for the final round, I think.
I mean the one before that.
Oh, round 18.
Port and West Torrens.
Yeah. Ironically, if you ask any coach, do they want to be playing tough games at the end of the season? The answer is always going to be yes. They want to get that mindset in about what they're trying to do and play against the best at that time.
Smith really battling away here against Munro in a nice head-to-head. What is the final setup this year, Anthony? I saw that the semi-finals are on at the same time this year.
That's correct. Back to a bit of a more traditional setup.
Mostly because of the Open Men's National Championships, March 5th to 10th, right here from West Beach.
Correct.
Well, Smith did battle hard, pulls this one out to left field, but a good catch taken for the second out. That's
a really good catch. It's an important catch too. So these next 2 hitters here, Pash came in and made sure that she didn't underrun it. So that was good.
Overrun?
Overrun it, sorry.
Underrun it?
Are you able to underrun something? I don't know. So finals are a double header on the same day. So semi-final 1.
Neves just goes to the right side of the foul line.
So Diamond 1 will see both finals played back-to-back 4 and 7 p.m. Game 1 will be 3 versus 4, and then obviously the qualifying final will be the late game at 7 p.m.
So they're not on at the same time?
Not at the same time.
That's brilliant. Are we announcing it? Are we live streaming every final?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely, we are.
And
Wednesday prelim final, and then Saturday night, 8 o'clock.
We'll have to make sure that Brandon's got his calendar clear as Neves lifts this one to the right side, but under it is Tomkinson at second base for the third out.
Well, that's a good segue too, James, because just also on the weekend, posters and invitations will go out for the ASA Association Presentation Awards, which will be held at March 17th. So for the first time, we're holding them before the grand final, and then we will be that'll be held at the Marion Sports Club between 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. So you'll have details here as we've just seen on the replay there.
Yeah, Georgia Tomkinson took the catch, but more importantly, Jess Neves shouts the bar because she was first and third out of the inning.
Right. So we're going to have to open. So obviously we'll be playing the first round of finals on the Saturday, and then on the Sunday night we'll hold our presentation awards at the Marion Sports Club. So obviously, as I said, invitations will be going out to the clubs, obviously with medal nominees that can be included. Love to see you there. We've got some other tricks up our sleeves. Speaking of producer Brandon, he's going to be doing some fancy media work for us that night, which will be a really cool event. And
does he know? Because he just looked at me like it's
he knows. This stuff's been booked in for a long time. Yes, I know he does. So Make sure when you see the posters go up this week and go up in socials, get to be a part of it. We've tried to subsidise it as much as we can to keep the pricing down and hopefully make it a good night.
9-hitter for the Seacombe Tigers. Leads off the bottom of the 5th, Kaylin Mountford. We are about quarter past, so about 75 minutes in.
As we get close to, just a couple of other quick things. Ollie Durham and Abby Bastian just announced in the Australian squad, the extended Australian squad for upcoming World Championships, so congratulations to them. And Coach Terry Lemery from the West Torrens Eagles having a birthday today as well, so happy birthday to her.
Called strike, so Engler will get strikeout number 6. And thanks for the feedback. I'm indulging on some M&Ms and I've been told that you can hear me eating, so my apologies. There's a look at the C-Max replay of Liz Engler's 6th strikeout. High ball, long ball out to centre field, and well, what a great catch from Zoe Thompson. She looked very comfortable as she got onto that one, and she's riding a high at the moment.
That's a very difficult catch, and ball held in the air for a long time under lights. So, again, more evidence of why she is one of the rising stars in softball in South Australia. Absolute superstar.
Tell me the infield home run has not boosted a little bit of confidence out there. She looks strong under
Not
that.
only has it boosted confidence for her, but what it's done is it's changed the entire game. I mean, it was a game that she'd gone 2 strikeouts in her first 2 at-bats, probably maybe one of the first times she's seen Eriksson, especially under lights, at least. And then to come up with a run that clears the bases and takes the team from behind into in front, huge.
Are we talking C-Max player of the game-changing home run?
Game-changing as a play, for sure, absolutely. I mean, as you said, there's been some other great performances tonight.
And looks like Mrs. Brooke Moses has come in for a turn at bat, replacing Lara Titmus. Two out, still plenty of time if we clear the 3rd, so we'll go another innings and step into the 6th. Not bad, we got 6 innings here. The bat could only get 3.
Yeah, yep. The Hills Walkerville game, it was a high scoring. Now, Jess Golden's had another timeout to speak to Engler. It's always good for a pitcher catcher to communicate, but maybe she's trying to play it out so there's not another inning. There's still 5 minutes to go before no new inning and 10 minutes of regulation game time. I'm pretty sure she'd be keen to get another bat. She's due up in
2 batters.
2 batters.
She'll start on deck. She's had 2 singles and a base on balls from 3 at bats.
Well, Jess won't be slowing her down because she's batting right behind her. So
Moses Karashnazus to the right side. It's a single to right field, although Neves attempts the 9-3, and Brooke Moses gives the Tigers a little bit of life.
that's a great come in and pinch at bat against a pitcher that's thrown 100 strikeouts for the season.
And then Lara Titmus just comes straight back out to take the spot at first. So did her job there, Brooke.
Brooke Moses. Remember that name. She middled that as she hit it right side. American, Anthony?
I believe so, yes.
But now lives in Australia.
Yes, I believe moved over from New South Wales, can be corrected. So
Brilliant for her 3rd plate appearance as a sacrifice bunt and forced the error at 3rd. Her 2nd time at bat, so here's at bat number 3. Of the innings not pitched by England this year, Zoe Thompson out at centre field's pitched a couple of innings, and Charlotte Dobrozczyk's the other player with a couple of innings next to her name.
Great, yeah, great to see Charlotte back. So one of the really talented pitchers on the rise.
Lynn
That's
reaches for one that goes foul.
That's the scary thing about the Magpies when you've got the likes of Zoe Thompson, when you've got the likes of Charlotte on just sitting there ready to go. So future bright for the Magpies, but obviously this year's final series will be the thing on their minds at the moment with this current group.
Two count with 2 out here in the bottom of the 5th, and we are now getting close to that 85-minute mark, maybe 2 or 3 minutes at the most. It would be interesting to see if the out is not made on this batter, if we will go around again. And on the pitch, there.
Well, she got her wish, so it's we're going to have one more bat each.
All eyes are on the plate
Played
umpire.
up by the watch.
She would have called it.
Call it like it's the
Yeah, would have called it by now. You can't send him out in the field and then call it.
All right, we're going to go to a 6th, and Port Adelaide leads 7-2. And just a quick recap of this game so far. It was a very tight battle between the pitchers who went 2 scoreless innings each before Port Adelaide scored in the 3rd. Seacombe Tigers returned serve, scoring 2 of their own in the bottom of the 3rd. Then again, it became a tight game before the 5th inning. Port Adelaide unloaded with 6 runs, and that has been the score, 7-2.
Seacombe just making some defensive changes. Sigrid Schumacher, I believe, has just come into the game out at right field.
Well, the top of the table, Port Adelaide just keep denying opposition teams. They've lost just 3 games for the season. The last 2 games that they've lost have only been by a single run.
Yeah, they've had a couple of close ones. Just an update from Jill Williams. Brooks' sister Paige was in the state under-14s in the regional team. The family's originally from Minnesota and came over to Australia in January last year. So thank you, Jill. More helpful than you.
Port Adelaide's
son.
only other loss, the ones that I just mentioned, came all the way back in round 3 against Sturt, where they lost 6-1. That is the heaviest defeat that they've had of the year and the highest score against them as well. And so for Seacombe to win, they'll have to beat that highest runs against in a single game against Port Adelaide.
9-1-2 for the Magpies, 4th time round. So, but now getting a look at Araha Munro on the mound. Engler already 2 for tonight.
And I think you're finding those changes. Pasha's moved to centre field, potentially.
No, Titmus is still there.
Who's left? Caitlin Mountford?
The girl, yes.
Caitlin Mountford's gone from right to left, and Sigrid Schumacher takes the spot out at right, so Pasha's come off as well.
Engler grounds foul.
So straight away, England's having to work harder here in trying to generate the pace off the ball just the way that Araha is able to get that rotation, making it difficult for the tall superstar from the Magpies.
Back-to-back seasons for Engler. She played in the European summer last year, and as a hitter for her club team and throughout the European tournament circuit. They play a European Cup over there and Winners' Cup and you name it. They've got a bunch of tournaments all through the July-August period, and she mostly played as a hitter.
Well, they didn't use her much as a pitcher that first time that she was here. Obviously had the break in the middle.
Just jammed a little bit here. Tompkinson on the move, and makes the playing time. It was a bit shaky there for a second, but the youngster had plenty of time.
Yeah, good play by Georgia Tompkinson. I mean, it's difficult because that ball's spinning as it's getting to her. It's just not just bouncing towards her. So Georgia did a great job of keeping that ball in front and not over-committing and keeping it there so that she can come up with the play. And that's a good out.
Golden, 2 for 2 and a walk. Has a couple of stolen bases and a run scored. You kind of get used to seeing numbers like that for Golden.
Just shows how dominant she was last year. Just, you know, was an absolute terror on the bases when she got on, and she got on a lot.
Big swing at that one
Yeah.
on the 2-0 count. It was like a T20 free swing, wasn't it?
Yeah, the face back to the bench definitely indicated that was hers. Expect a more team-orientated swing this time round, but
and fouls this one off. Now, I mentioned that England's gone back-to-back seasons. I think Golden hasn't stopped playing softball for the better part of a couple of years. Played in Europe before she came to Australia last year, then played in Europe our last winter, and then back in Australia here. So she might not have seen US soil in a couple of years.
there might be worse things in the world, travelling the world playing softball though. Plenty of time to catch up when you get when the game becomes a struggle. At that point, you'll probably move into coaching. Just evidence here, though, of what a pitching change has done. So, again, fourth time round for the Magpies, and they're having to completely reset everything that they've been doing, finding it a lot harder to clear the ball.
Great battle here between these two players. Munro just goes down in the zone. It's now a full count, 3-2 on Golden, who's had a couple of big swings in this at-bat. Just missing, but Golden confidently reaches on for her fourth time in this game, 2 hits and 2 walks. How's your C-Max player of the game going?
I'm struggling at the moment. I'm bouncing around. It's a lot of it comes down to Zoe Thompson's next at bat.
Yeah, well, it was 2-1 when she came up to bat her last time. Golden takes off, a running bunt as Havas leaves the base unattended. So the spilt play at second base from the second base player. Zoe Thompson's aboard. Golden didn't break stride. Have a look at the C-Max replay and safely to third.
Yeah, it won't be called an error there. She definitely had the leg speed. She's beaten the throw. Got the runner, single, Golden, around to third. And got to remember too, although there was a strikeout for Zoe's first at bat, she covered the plate well enough to allow Jess Golden to get a couple of stolen bases during that at bat. So she gave up a bit of team batting there, got a couple of strikes on her, but covered the plate to make it difficult for the catchers. So when you look at that, although it's a strikeout, it's team batting.
100%. And I know, James, when you had a late commentator pull out tonight and asked if I could fill in, and I asked who's playing, this is why I wanted to come down and see. Love watching Marcelino play, just her field work and her batting, and now she's got an opportunity to put this game well and truly to bed.
Yep, C-Max replay, Zoe Thompson will go to 2 unopposed, so 2 runners in scoring position for Marcelino. Trouble is if you put her on, you've got Maslin in the on-deck circle, who you've already intentionally walked this game.
Yeah, different picture when that happened, but I understand exactly what you're saying. You're right. It's pick your poison here, unfortunately. But to Araha's credit, since she's come on, we haven't had a ball on the outfield. So,
Yep, good point.
They're working harder to create that out, those hits. So,
foul ball. Was it Edwards the first batter for Edwards, or was
Engler.
McKenna Smith?
Engler was the first batter of this innings.
No, against Munro.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Yeah, I think Montana Edwards got a hit out to centre field, but then it went to all infield, a fly to 7, then a fly to 4. So
just jams her a little bit, and Diaz is quick and turns a double. What a great play. That's her second sharp play of the game. Regan Diaz, double play, gets them out of this innings without giving up a run. Watch as we see on the C-Max replay. She covers great ground here, and she's right on the spot.
I tell you what, talking player of the game, I know that we don't give them generally to losing teams. So she's had a triple, and she's had the bunt. She's had the big fly that went out and just caught her in the air. But that's actually, looking at it, I reckon it's her 5th put out and 1 assist for the night at shortstop.
I mean,
can't give it to a losing team because we nearly got sacked last time we did that.
Well, Gemma Cochran, her first time on the mic, she identified that Abby Bastion had a game, and although in a losing side, you can't deny that it was a terrific game from the young star. So I've changed my mind on that, Pete.
we were still fired, but tonight, Engler's gone 2 for, pitched lights out. Golden's been dangerous every time she's gone to the plate, thrown a couple of runners out. Diaz has been outstanding in the field. Eriksson got a deep shot, pitched 4 really good innings, probably kept him 1 too long. There's a bunch of players that have impacted the game, but no more than, in this particular instance, Zoe Thompson. Like the catch was great, but coming off of a really tough couple of at-bats, to put your team from 2-1 down and put them into the box seat 4-2, especially with that shot and that running. Yeah, it's difficult. It's a good call, Pete. You're going to have to come up with a decent one.
Sorry, I thought for 5.5 innings that was your job tonight, but
not for the ring-ins. Havis has already had a good shot tonight in her last at-bat. Went early.
Goes again at Engler, and big swing will just be a strike.
Could always get James to do it. It's the handball at an awful lot and then have an opinion on it after.
Yeah.
Is this Mike White?
I do like to have a say in the C-Max player of the game, unlike when either of you host the program. You always palm it off, so I don't mind. I think Zoe Thompson's leading the player of the game at this point.
Great change of pace there by Engler. Havis swinging on both.
Gets underneath this to the right side. Neves under it and takes a catch. So pretty complete game from Port Adelaide at the end of the day. Maybe 1 or 2 little mistakes that crept in, but even the right fielder, Jess Neves, gets in on this one.
Yeah, just looking on this replay, I think she nearly lost it late. You had to really flick the arm out from the left-hand side of the face over to the right shoulder, and the ball got caught and took the glove back a fair way. So good catch in the end. Big smile on her face. I think she knew it, but good way to get the first.
Munro goes first pitch. It's high out to left field, but Marcelino presses back to take a catch and robs the left fielder. It's not Jess Maslin. They've made a change of a play.
Zoe Benedictson, I reckon, is coming out there. That was I reckon you call that a fly, 6.5. It was that far out towards the outfield, but Marcelino travelled far enough. And
that was a fly 6 from the moment it left the bat. Marcelino was taking that ball, no matter if it was at the fence. So 2 out here. 1 for the win for the Magpies.
And Emily Eriksson, who started out
really well,
but then got caught up with the best team in the competition. They're sitting top of the ladder for a reason, and I'm sure she'd love another chance at him, but they don't play Port Adelaide again for this season, but she may get a chance at second on the table West Torrens next week.
Look, bar 1 innings there where they were scoring.
Reaches with her hands, pulls it. And Benedictson nearly got robbed of another catch as Zoe Thompson tried to shark one across, but she got under it and takes a good catch. Anthony, you think that had a chance?
Moment off the bat, like her hands was right. It wasn't, you sometimes know it's clean when you hear it off the bat, but that one just seemed to go so high. She was right on the tip of the bat. Imagine if she actually used the barrel in that case, but good judgment there.
Yeah, Benedictson read it really well. Made a two-step adjustment to take the catch, but she nearly got ripped off 2 catches in 2 plays.
Yeah, that's...
Zoe Thompson obviously thought she had to get the desperate last play to
Played
get the play
it
of the
back
match.
to, yeah.
Well, I can tell you that unanimously I've made the decision that she is our C-Max player of the game.
Done.
I think because the youngster isn't a regular starter for this team, she took her opportunity with Gemma Lett not being here to put her name out there for selection. A home run, as you said, Pete, a couple of good team at-bats her first 2 times. Gives them something different up the top of the order with a second left-hander. 3 RBIs from that one play, and then a terrific running bunt her 4th time. Was clean in the field, and a great contribution for Zoe Thompson, your C-Max Clinical Research Player of the game.
Yeah, look, I don't think you can keep Gemma Letton out of centre field when she comes back, but it's what you do is Zoe. I liked her up in the 2 spot.
Yeah,
she's got speed and she's that left-hand bat.
Yeah, don't mind Gemma at 2 though. I think in Lee Hull's words, I think Zoe would be a really good 9 in that reverse when you come back with such a powerful lineup. I mean, you imagine the runners of Thompson and Golden in front of Marcelino, Jess Maslin. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's the way that they best mix, and it's mixing pretty well. But just quick shout out. Remember, Saturday, Club Life members round. Hills are in the canteen for the day, so we'll be doing some burgers and some pastries as well as our usual toasties, and then later in the night, 4:30 onwards, the Red Lanyards for the Life members, and a couple of big games and a meal after.
And before I wrap up, Pete, any final comments?
Oh, look, just a clinical performance again. 1 innings from Port Adelaide was enough to do it, and Seacombe did very well for all the other innings that they were out there. They actually won the game 2-1, but just unfortunately, they managed to turn around and have that 1 innings where Port just went bang that we expected at some stage was going to come.
Top of the table, Port Adelaide will now go 2 games clear, or 1.5 games clear of second place West Torrens after a great win tonight, 7-2. Really thank our broadcast partners, C-Max Clinical Research, MC Sportswear and Easton. It's getting late, guys. It's past your bedtime. It's getting close to mine, so we might call it a night. I reckon, Producer Brandon, thank you and your team at Spacequake Sports, and thank you everyone at home for watching. We'll see you Saturday for round 17.